All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation. This is Thursday Night Knicks, another edition of our NBA Draft Scouting Series. CP from KnicksFanTV, my man Jay Els from Nick of Time Show. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the Kentucky trio of guards, two of which have already declared for the NBA Draft, one likely, and those are Tyrese Maxey, Ashton Hagans, and Immanuel Quickley. Joining us tonight, special guest. He is the host of the Sources Say podcast, also part of the Kentucky Sports Radio Network. Jack Pilgrim. Jack, how you feeling tonight, man? Thanks for joining us.
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. So let's get right into it with the first, who I guess you would say is showing the most potential as far as draft prospects go, and that's Tyrese Maxey. What did you like about Maxey this season in his freshman year?
Man, Maxey is a guy that you fall in love with his personality first and foremost. I covered him on the recruiting circuit a good bit. Watched him, met up with him at McDonald's game, Jordan Brand Classic, all those, and he's a guy that locker room guy, good chemistry type guy. His personality you just fall in love with right away. But on the court, man, he's one of those just professional bucket getters. First and foremost, he's a guy that you trust to go out there and get 15 plus on a regular basis. I think he's one of the most elite finishers at the rim that we've seen in the Calipari era at Kentucky. I don't think his 3-point numbers really show what kind of potential he has as a shooter from deep. I think he's a little bit streaky from that area, but I think his mechanics are something that we can work with at the next level. And I know he's a guy that, in fact, I talked to somebody on the Kentucky coaching staff today that said that he was a guy that needed that 1 year at Kentucky to kind of mature physically and mentally. Honestly, I mean, he was bright, smiley type guy, but kind of that needed that professional approach. They said that, man, he is NBA ready. From day one. I think he's a big time player at the next level. I definitely understand the lottery hype with him.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got to like his scoring ability. Particularly, I like his floaters, man. His ability to get into the lane off of the pick and roll. He's got a nice little floater to him. And he seems like he steps it up as the games get bigger. I mean, he averaged 19 points against the top 25 this year. Seems like he's very much a gamer and pretty clutch in the spotlight.
Yeah, that's what kind of sucks about the NCAA tournament getting canceled is that's what he was built to be. When he came in Madison Square Garden, first big moment of the season against Michigan State, they were ranked number 1 in the nation at the time. He stepped up, hit the go ahead bucket to take the lead. Ultimately won the game for Kentucky, and it seemed like every single big game from then he was always the guy to take over. People, Kentucky fans kind of thought he had that Aaron Harrison level of just, that clutch gene. And we were like, man, this could be the guy that could, kind of take his game to the next level when March came around. And unfortunately, we never got to see that. So, you guys are big Knicks guys, and to play on a stage like Madison Square Garden and the spotlight like New York, I mean, he is made for that spotlight.
Absolutely, man. JL, you had a question?
I have a question. So you talked about his shooting or the lack thereof shooting. Is that a tribute to anything? Is he like forcing more catch and shoot? I mean, is he more forcing shots off the dribble, or is he missing like kind of catch and shoot shots? Why do you think he's missing shooting, like I think 28% from 3 overall?
Man, you went out for just a second on that question. Can you say it one more time?
You were mentioning his lack of 3-point shooting, and he was saying, what do you attribute that to?
Man, I honestly, it's something that the Kentucky coaching staff was kind of confused about the whole year, because he was billed as a big time shooter. He shot really well. When I watched him at like McDonald's All-American practices and Jordan Brand, I never saw him miss more than 2 3-pointers in a row. He was one of those guys that just always knew how to correct himself mid-game. He just kind of had that that shooter's touch And when he got to Kentucky, for whatever reason, and I mean, a lot of it was open looks too. It wasn't even, I think there was a little bit that he kind of got carried away at times, and kind of had the Trae Young thing going, where he'd get a little sloppy with his shot selection at times, with shooting 5-6 feet behind the 3-point line. But for the most part, I think a lot of it was just trying to find his groove, and he just never found that consistency. But long term, I don't see that being an issue at all.
Now they question whether or not he can play the point at the next level. Obviously, being 6'2", 6'3". What did you make of his playmaking skills in this short season that you saw him?
Honestly, I think they didn't give him enough credit for his playmaking ability, and it was kind of a double-edged sword with Kentucky having 3 high-profile guards like that, because Tyrese has shown the ability to run point. He did it in high school. He did it at the AAU level. But when you have an Ashton Hagans who was there last year, who came back to kind of take over, he wasn't asked to be in that role. He was able to do it. In fact, at the very end of the year, the last game of the season, Ashton Hagans missed that final game, and Tyrese was Calipari said, "This is your time. Now is when you're going to take over the lead point guard spot," and he thrived. He was playing really well. Obviously, an adjustment. You can't play all season long off ball, and then final game of the year they say, "Okay, now you're going to run. You're going to run the show." Yeah. So there was obviously a little bit of an adjustment period. But Coach Cal raved about him after the game. Said, "Man, for us to kind of throw him in, he's done it in the past, but to kind of throw him in after playing the role that he had all year long, and to still lead the team. They fell down 18 points, had to claw back, and ultimately won in a game-winning shot. He showed that he can play both positions. And that was a game that I left on, man, that's going to be big for him, for scouts watching him and saying, oh, yeah, this is a dude that can definitely play one or two.
How about defensively? I've heard some good things about him defensively. I heard he's a good defender on ball, off ball. Can you get into detail about how we can expect him to perform at the next level defensively?
How do you like his defense, Jack?
Yeah, I think his length is there. I think the big part of that is just his energy. He's a guy that he is always going to bring it every time he steps on the floor, and it showed. I mean, he's a little flawed in some areas defensively. He gets he'll get beat off the dribble sometimes. He'll get backdoored a little bit, but for the most part, the potential's there. He shined. I'd say he was a good defender, not great, and above average. I think he definitely showed some high potential defensive tools.
What do you think about Coach Cal's Jamal Murray comparisons with him, man?
Oh, I think it's there, right there. I mean, and like I mentioned, with Jamal was a guy that you saw his role at Kentucky. He was a primary, catch and shoot type guy. Didn't really have the opportunity to take over with the ball in his hands. And then when he got to Denver, you saw that he's obviously not the primary point guard, but he has taken over that role more often, pretty often, honestly. And that's definitely what I think Tyrese could be. I mean, from a pure scoring aspect, I know, Jamal's a next level shooter. I mean, he's just, I think he's one of the best shooters that we've seen in the Calipari era by far. So I think he has the tools to become that level player in time. But I'm a big Jamal Murray fan. So it'll take some time for me to fall in love with him the way I fell in love with Jamal's game.
And outside of the playmaking, any other areas where you feel like he was deficient in or needed to work on?
Not really. Just kind of that efficiency shooting the ball. I mean, that's something that definitely we were able to see those tools, the fundamentals there. I do like his mechanics. I think he does need to lift, get his shot up just a hair. He is kind of a low release point, but outside of that, man, I think he is ready for the NBA from day one. And I think in time he definitely has the potential to be a starter in the league.
Nice, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. We are talking to Jack Pilgrim, host of the Sources Say podcast of the Kentucky Sports Radio Network. We are talking to him. We're just talking to him about Tyrese Maxey, part of our NBA draft scouting report. JL's, anything else on Maxey before we go to Hagans?
No, I think that's sufficient. I learned everything I need to know about Maxey.
Okay.
Move on. Can you guys hear me in the chat though?
Yeah, I think if I can hear you, they should be able to hear you. Okay, I think it just cool. Jack might have some difficulty hearing you a little bit, but I think the chat should be able to hear you good. Yeah, right. JL's is out of his studio tonight, folks, so just bear with us. You know, he's out on the road, but he wants to talk hoops, man. You know, he wants to talk hoops, so let's get it going. All right, Ashton Hagans, Jack, second year player. Known for his defense. It seems like his offensive numbers had dipped a little bit from his freshman year. But what do you like most about Ashton?
Yeah, defense is his game. He's a guy that that was definitely his calling. He's a guy that is going to bring it every single time he steps on the floor. Ashton, if you want a defensive stopper, you want a high intent, a Patrick Beverly type guy, you want a guy that's just going to be a pest. Ashton's your guy. I'm telling you, he's a guy that just has a knack for the ball. He knows how to jump the passing lanes. That is where he shines. And when he gives it his all. I mean, he's a guy that he could have won Naismith Defense Player of the Year by far. Offensively, there was a big adjustment this year. I think he kind of came back, and that's kind of why I'm not as high on him as a lot of people. And there's a reason he's a consensus kind of second round pick at this point. Mm-hmm. I think he kind of fell in love with taking jump shots when he's not a shooter. He kind of I think there was like a sense of panic with him midway through the year. He started the year playing like, arguably one of the best point guards in all of college basketball. And then he kind of hit this wall where nothing was falling for him. He couldn't finish at the rim to save his life. His jump shot wasn't hidden. His turnover numbers went way high, which is a huge problem for him. I think that there's a sense of panic that his offense wasn't where he wanted it to be, knowing that he was going to leave after this year. When he returned last year, it was a decision that he was going to leave no matter what happened at the end of the second year. Mm-hmm. So when he kind of realized, oh man, I might not be that first round talent, and that panic kind of set in, and it led to a lot of turnovers, bad shot selection, and we really didn't see what Ashton Hagans truly is on the floor, especially to close out the year. In fact, I mean, that last stretch of 10 games was really, really rough for him. He really, really struggled. Turnover numbers were insane. And it ultimately led to Coach Cal kind of said it was he needed to take some personal time away, but I think it was a suspension that he missed that final Florida game, and then the season ended, so he never got to redeem himself at the next level. So Kentucky fans will kind of always see him as a guy that kind of hit that wall and was never able to recover from it. So kind of left a bad taste in the mouths of people in Kentucky for sure.
Okay, well, I see he has a pretty decent assist numbers for a guy who kind of inept offensively. What's his shot creation for others like? Is he able to kind of break people off the dribble at least, or do a little bit of dishing?
Yeah, I think a lot of those the assist numbers, I think you can attribute to Nick Richards, having a 7 foot, Tyson Chandler level, type guy, rim running, lob catcher. That's what Nick Richards was. So you kind of had an automatic, 3 or so assists from him alone. But he really was really crafty with being able to find open teammates, and his court vision was impressive for the majority of the year. But like I said, it definitely felt like he got a little bit too carried away with his passing ability. His passing numbers were on par with Tyler Ulis, who a lot of Kentucky fans would say is arguably the best point guard in Kentucky basketball history. His sophomore year, I'd put up against just about anybody, and he was on pace to beat those numbers as a sophomore. And as his turnover numbers crept up, and he kind of got sloppy with it a little bit, those assists went down, and he, like I said, we weren't able to see who Ashton Hagans really is as a basketball player, and that's why I still have faith in his game, but I definitely think at the next level, he's going to need to be more of a defensive stopper, Patrick Beverly type player than his game's not going to be offensive made. He's going to make his money playing defense for sure.
Yeah, from some of the scouting reports I'm reading, they feel like he's NBA ready defensively. It's just a matter of if the rest of his game can catch up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, man. And once again, we're talking to Jack Pilgrim from the Sources Say podcast, also of the Kentucky Sports Radio Network. Just covered Tyrese Maxey and Ashton Hagans, two of the Kentucky guards that have already declared for the NBA draft. JL's anything else on Hagans before we go to Quickley?
No, I'm good on Hagans. I want some shooters on the team, though. I know Chat feels the same way as I do.
Well, I mean, speaking of shooters, Jack, I mean, Quickley definitely lit it up this year for Kentucky, man. I mean, he had an 8 3-pointer game, shot 42% from downtown, 30-point game, led the team in scoring, 11 times, I think. What did you make of Quickley's freshman year?
Man, Quickley is a guy that if you need bench scoring, he is 100% your guy. Man, Quickley, he as a freshman, I think he averaged like 5 points a game. Didn't shoot all that well. Really struggled to kind of find. He was a guy that was a point guard in high school that was really supposed to be an off ball. He was best suited as a shooting guard, but he ran point. He kind of really struggled to create his own shot. Really, dribble separation really wasn't all that there as a freshman. He was really just a catch and shoot type guy, and he really wasn't even all that great as a freshman. And as a sophomore, man, his jump is, that's what's all good about college basketball, man. He hit the gym, worked his butt off all season, all off season. Came back with a chip on his shoulder, said, man, I want to start on this team. I want to be an SEC player of the year type guy. And he came in, and that's exactly what he did. He was still making these, making open shots, but he ran the point a good bit. As a catch and shoot guy, he was, some of the best of the best. 43% overall on the year. He's just a knockdown guy. My thing is, he's a guy that hasn't shown enough. He's 6'3", wingspan is slightly above average. Right now, he projects 100% as a spark plug off the bench. He's just nothing more than a role player, and that's part of the reason why he's kind of getting that mid-second round grade or so. But I think if he has a tough decision to make. If he wants to come back, Kentucky brought in Devin Askew, to run point guard next year, but he reclassified from the year up. Going to be an adjustment period for him, and Kentucky's basically kind of pitching him, hey, you can come back and run the point, kind of establish yourself as a true first round talent. So it's his decision right now is, are you comfortable being a Landry Shamet? Are you comfortable being just a Lou Williams, just a pure, two role scorer off the bench, or do you want to come back and potentially, work your way into being a starter at, starting point guard at the NBA level?
Develop more at the point.
I think as of right now, he's leaning toward leaving, and I think he is growing more and more comfortable with having that Landry Shamet type role at the NBA level. And if that's what you want out of him, I'm telling you, you're going to need exactly that. He's going to be able to score in the NBA right away.
Interesting. Now, two guys that played in your conference that you had to look at this year, Kira Lewis and Anthony Edwards. What were your takes on those two guys?
Yeah, you look at Anthony Edwards. There's a reason he's a consensus top 5 talent right now. 6'5", 225 pounds. He kind of has that NBA ready body right away. Struggled shooting a little bit. I think he shoot 20% from three over his last 10 games or something. Really struggled there. But he's a microwave scorer. He's a guy that NBA ready scorer. I think I saw a comparison with him that said he's either Deion Waiters or Bradley Beal, and he doesn't know which one he wants to be yet. I think it's a good comparison. He's a guy that he can take over games and win you games, and if he can kind of mature up a little bit and physically mature as well, I think he definitely has high level NBA starter potential. But he also he's a kind of a boom or bust type guy, and I don't know if I don't know if you have a top 5 pick, that's a risk you want to take. Given the talent that you can find at the top, I'm a big fan of him, but it'll be interesting to see. I'm definitely interested in what he's.
So you wouldn't take him at number 1?
I don't think so. I think I still need to see a little bit more out of him. I understand it if he is taken number 1 overall, but I'm a big fan of some of the other guys up top. But I would understand it, but I'm not as bullish on his game as some other people.
If you go back to the game, your home game against him, I felt like, if I remember correctly, you guys did fairly well on him in the first half of that game. Do you remember how Kentucky, tried to play him defensively that allowed him to struggle?
Yeah, I think. Are you talking the game at Georgia or at Kentucky?
I believe it was at Kentucky. I'm
trying to remember. I know the first half one. I think that was at Georgia when he was dominating. Georgia led in the first half. He was balling. He kind of did the I'm babying you against Tyrese Maxey. They were friends growing up. Kentucky, and that was a big Ashton Hagans game. Hagans kind of took over and kind of got up in his face and just made him uncomfortable. When he's one of those guys that he can dominate against against most talent, but when you get up in his face and you can get physical with him and kind of stay right in front of him, he's not as unstoppable as kind of some people make him out to be. I mean, like I said, I'm a big fan, but just a little bit more polishing, I think.
What would you take number 1? Just curious.
I'm going back and forth by the day. I watched James Wiseman a good bit in high school, and Kentucky was right there on his list, and I got to see his game up close and personal. I don't know if Memphis was the best fit for him, even if he didn't end up at Kentucky. I didn't know if that was the best fit for him, and I know he didn't play very many games, but I think his potential is just absolutely insane right now. Defensively, defensively, I think he can be just special for sure. That's a guy that if I were a GM that I would take and kind of take a chance on, even knowing some of the struggles that we didn't get to see a whole lot of it. We didn't get to see how he would progress, how we'd get into conference play, all that. His season was kind of cut short. I think people kind of forgot how special he could actually be because of that. So if I were a GM, that's where I would put my money.
Two more quick questions. What did you make of Kira Lewis when you guys played him?
Man, I'm a big fan of Kira. I liked him a good bit last year. And I thought he could take a big step up. And, man, for what he was able to do, I mean, looking at his numbers, 18.5 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, all around, just flash player. I mean, it's one of the quickest guys in the conference. Not the best shooter. Got a little streaky at times. Had some struggles finishing at the rim against SEC length, SEC strength. But, man, I'm a big fan of his game. If you could get him, man, late first, mid first. I mean, that's definitely a guy that I'd be high on. I see Kira Lewis and Anthony Edwards not. I think Anthony's better, but if you're taking playing that long game and you have that opportunity as a mid round mid first round pick, man, I'd take Kira all day long. I'm a big fan of his game.
Nice. We're talking to Jack Pilgrim, host of the Sources Say podcast, also of the Kentucky Sports Radio Network. We just touched on the Kentucky guard trio of Tyrese Maxey, Ashton Hagans, and Immanuel Quickley as well. We also got Jack's opinions on Anthony Edwards and Kira Lewis, 2 SEC players this year. Jack, last question for you. You got a chance to see Kevin Knox play. Obviously, he was a lottery pick of the New York Knicks. Does his struggles thus far surprise you? What were your initial thoughts on Knox, and how does it compare to now?
Unfortunately, not at all. He was a guy that he was what he was when he left. I mean, there were some strong rumblings that he was thinking strongly about returning for a sophomore year, and it kind of shocked some Kentucky fans because he was seen as a lottery pick. And then, I think he kind of got a good sense that he would be able to slide in at the end of the top 10, and he wasn't able to pass that up, obviously. But I think he was a guy that Coach Cal kept saying over and over again, he's young, he's the youngest player in college basketball. Give him time, let him find his groove, let him mature physically. He's just he kind of grew up as a big guard. In trying to transition into being a true three, stretch for that role. I think there were times that he was trying to play the two at Kentucky, and I think there was just that really bad adjustment of trying to figure out who he actually is as a player. And I think that's translated a little bit to him at the NBA level. Yeah. I know his sophomore dip. I mean, he flat out has not been good at all this year. But I think you got to remember that he's still 20 years old. He's a guy that is still, he's still 5 years from his prime, 6 years away from his prime. I still think you got to be patient with him and understand that he is way young for his age, and I think it's going to be a process for sure. And I'm still high on his game. I think long term, I don't know if he has all-star potential or not, but I think he could continue to build off that rookie year that he had instead of the kind of dip that he's taken with his minute cuts and just lack of production, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely agree with you, man. He's still trying to figure it out. I'm not giving up hope yet, but he's definitely a source of contention amongst the fan base.
Oh yeah, I mean, man, seeing some of those highlights, some of the headlines of saying that he's soft and all that. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can't disagree with it. I mean, that is what he is right now. But that's kind of what happens when you take a dude that's way too young to be entering the draft and super rough around the edges, about as raw as you could get, to kind of expect him to be a polished product. It's just a tough situation for him. I mean, it's tough for you guys because you expect him to be a top 10 level talent, but he hasn't shown that yet. Like I said, I'm still very high on his game. I just think it's going to be the adjustment period is still well underway.
Yeah, the only bright spot I have for Knox right now is you hear that he's working hard with the Knicks and he's kind of a gym rat per se, even though it hasn't really reflected itself on the court. So I'm hoping that he pulls through on that end. Was he a gym rat too in Kentucky? Do you know about his work ethic?
How was his work ethic at Kentucky, Jack?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you went out just for a second there. At the end, I didn't hear the question. Yeah, his work ethic was there. I mean, I think that was an adjustment to start with. I think Cal even said a couple times that I mean, when you get to a place like Kentucky, it's like going to an NBA franchise from the start. I mean, their practices are like Cal. One of Cal's biggest sayings is, our practices are harder than a lot of our games because you're playing 5-on-5 against other top 10, top 20 level recruits. So that was an adjustment of just kind of realizing, oh man, this isn't going to be a cakewalk. This is definitely harder than I anticipated. But I think by the end of the year, I mean, he had a couple, his West Virginia game's kind of the big game that everybody talks about with him, and that was kind of his clicking like aha moment. Yeah. And I think it's still not what it needs to be, but I think he learned how to be a professional at Kentucky, and I see the rumblings. I see that people are talking about it and all that, and it's tough. I know it's you guys are expecting a whole lot more, and it kind of makes me like, man, it's like my guy is not making you guys happy. But
hey, we expect greatness from the time they cross the stage on draft night, Jack. That's just how it goes, man. That's just how it goes.
I totally get it.
Well, Jack, we definitely appreciate the time, man. Before you get out of here, just let the fans know where they can find you.
Yeah, my Twitter's at Jack Pilgrim KSR. Sources Say podcast, kind of a Kentucky basketball recruiting. Have some of the upcoming Kentucky players, big name recruits, up and coming guys. They come on the show and we talk about their recruitments and what kind of what they're like as players, and kind of get to know them before they even get to the spotlight of Kentucky, or a lot of them don't even end up at Kentucky. Just kind of before they reach superstardom at the college level and then ultimately the NBA. So yeah, I write for KentuckySportsRadio.com and pump out Kentucky basketball work quite a bit.
It's good stuff, man. Well, definitely best of luck. Be safe with your social distancing and everything. And once again, thanks again for joining us, man. Hopefully we'll have you on as the draft draws nearer.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right. That was Jack Pilgrim of the Sources Say podcast, Kentucky Sports Radio. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. It's good insights, Yales.
Yeah.
Good insights, man. I like that call. I like his thoughts on Maxi. What do you think?
Yeah, I like thoughts on Maxi too. The shooting is still a concern, but talking to him made it seem like it's a possibility it can come around if somehow he ends up in a Knicks uniform.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about. And you just like that he competes too.
That's what I'm saying. He's a dog. He's a dog. That's what you like to see. To me, it's his playmaking. Can he improve a little bit as a playmaker? You think right now they have him slotted as high as 10 is what I saw. So never know. Again, you never know. You never know, man. So I'm just thinking how you pair him with RJ out there.
I'm still not sure, man.
That's if he pairing, man. But off the pick and roll, he's solid.
Yeah, off the pick and roll, he's solid. You could definitely do that off the pick and roll. If you end up 10, who knows though? Maybe you do a trade down for Kira. I don't know. Maybe you get cute, as you guys would say.
I don't see them trading down, man. I wouldn't do it. Let's pick who you gonna pick, man.
You gonna pick him?
To me, if there's a guy there that you just pick him. We need the best player available right now.
Because it's really hard to see like who is gonna be the real number one. Like,
yeah,
and you can see like Perry knew that Knox wasn't going to be the top guy right away. I feel like he picked the long game over the short game.
Yeah.
So you
like Jack was saying, look, maybe the West Virginia game was the one that sold Perry.
Well, we know Knox beat Miles Bridges in 1-on-1.
Yeah.
We know that was a big thing. So who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? Maybe Kira beat somebody in the combine, or who knows? But I'm hearing a lot of things about Kira. So Kira could be the guy Max could buy. Who knows? What you think in the chat, guys? Do you like Kira or Maxi?
What do you guys think in the chat, man? Between Kira Lewis, Tyrese Maxey, who do you guys like right now as a prospect for the Knicks? Leave a comment below. Salute to everybody in the chat. I'm going to start the phones up if you guys want to call in, talk about anything Knicks draft, whatever the case may be, any of the news that happened this week. It was a slow news week. JLs.
Yep.
Not much going on. League is still kind of, up in the air in terms of whether they're going to resume or not.
Yeah, man.
So
I think it depends on this government and see what we can do with this, the testing of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
It all depends on that. That's what the season hangs on right now.
Absolutely, man. ESPN's mock draft had us taking Denny at 6. What'd you think about that?
It's one of those things where I won't be super upset. I in my heart of hearts, Jay Ellis wants a shooter.
Yeah.
Because I just want to immediately have that guy have an impact on his team and just be able to stretch the floor for RJ. But long term, then he could be a nice pickup. He seems like he's shown some flashes of shooting, so maybe it can affect our team positively along with the rest of his well-rounded game. So I wouldn't be super upset at Danny, but even though I do want a shooter or a point guard.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be, super upset at it. Can he shoot is the question, right?
Yeah.
You know that he has a high IQ. We had Jason Filippi on, international scout. You know he has a good feel for the game. Somebody that can initiate the break. He has good size. Somebody that, decent athleticism, but his jumper is very erratic.
Right.
Jumper is very erratic. But as a guy that can make plays for you, sure, I think he could definitely get the job done.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And raise the overall awareness and IQ of our team. So that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing if you have a good system for him. Somebody like the Spurs.
Yeah, exactly. And if he has that at the 4 and the shooting comes along eventually, then, he might not be on top of the world this year, but maybe in a few years.
Yeah.
We will come together, and that'll be a perfect compliment to RJ. Someone who's unselfish, can shoot and pass. As long as the shooting gets there, you know what I mean?
Yep, that's it, man. All right, first call of the night is going to Los Maine. Los Maine in here wants to talk about the draft. Los, how you feeling, man?
Yo.
Yo, what's good, bro?
What's good?
How you feeling, man?
Oh man, y'all are real low. I can't really hear nothing.
Hold on a second.
Oh yeah.
Hang on, Los. We got you, man.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh man,
Nope.
I might have to call back because I can't hear y'all.
Yeah, go ahead and call back.
Okay.
Bro. Go ahead and call back. JL, so you can hear him good, right?
Yeah, I can hear him perfectly.
All right. Could be the switchboard. Let's go to another one. See if it's switchboard or if that was Los. So to everybody in the chat, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Another quarantine stream. We just had Jack Pilgrim on of the Sources Say podcast.
Shout out to Jack.
Yeah, man. Who else? He liked Wiseman at number 1, Jails.
That was interesting.
Yeah, we didn't hear that. We haven't heard that yet.
Definitely haven't heard that. It's like I've seen some ESPN lists that had Wiseman at like the 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I wonder if they're keeping up. But this guy likes Wiseman despite all the flaws I've heard from him. So from the guys I've heard talk about him, I'm not sure if he's the pick, but if somebody else is high on him, because I'm certainly not. Good for them. Better for us.
I got to do more homework on him. I got to do more homework on him before I could decide. But, he thinks Wiseman can be a beast. Ismail in the chat says he's a stud.
Mm-hmm.
Natty Solo says slightly worse than Eitan, Jerome Ayton. So.
Yeah, I heard like he's kind of gets shot happy.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really have the defense. You know how Mitch is like a real modern 5. Kind of, slide his feet. He switches hips and, stay in front of people and block shots. It seems like Wiseman doesn't really have that aspect of his game. Even though he has a shot blocking, he's kind of, a little tight. So I'm like, to me, if we already have Mitch, why go Wiseman? Unless the potential is that much there.
Unless he's head and shoulders, right.
Yeah.
Will from LI, how you feeling, Will?
Hey, what's happening, man? Let me just first off, I think the soundboard sounds kind of weird. It sounds like really. Your voices sound really like low.
It's probably the switchboard.
Let me just get my points off.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. So the first point I want to talk about. First off, they got great work as always with bringing in the work, BPJS. Bringing the people to scout and everything. Tyrese Maxey, good player. Just don't know. He's kind of low on the board. I don't think the Knicks are going to have. I wouldn't want them to use that pick or trade down or anything like that. So, good player. Don't know if he's good for the Knicks. But what I wanted to talk about really was the Lowry marketing situation and the Bulls and all that stuff. So, honestly, right? And just because his draft stock is, his trade stock is low. This is a potential package I'm looking at. I just want to get you guys points on this. I wanted to know what would you guys think about trading the Clippers first, the Charlotte second, and then Kevin Knox for Larry Market. I was like, at that point, they would definitely want a first for him, You're getting a low first in the Clippers pick. Again, for Mook, who we didn't know if he was going to come here anyway. We need a stretch four, man. And like what they said about Knox, man, even the guy even confirmed that he wasn't a traditional 3 or 4. He was a guard, and he plays like a guard. But the problem is, if you put him against a guy, he's going to get shredded on defense. So you can't have him there either. Like, I don't want to give up on the kid. Like you said, he's only 20 years old. But at the same time, I'm just like, Lowry is a guy that used to, average like 19 points. He can go in and out. He was over there busting, he who should not be named, but during that one game. So I'm just like, I feel like if the price is right,
yeah,
I'll pull the trigger. What do you guys think about that?
What do you think, Jails? What do you think, Jails? 27, 38, and Knox for Lowry marketing.
27, 38.
Man.
I might do.
I'm pulling.
I don't super hate it. I might not do the 2 first. I might take out.
Yeah.
See that 38 could be kind of high. Depends on how you like this draft, right?
Yeah, I might do Knox in a second. I might do that.
Yeah, that new Bulls GM is gonna hang up on you before you even get a dial tone, before you even get your first ring. You ever have that on a cell phone, Jails, where you call somebody and it hangs up before it even rings?
You got a low one.
It would be that type of situation. The Bulls GM is not taking Knox and 38 for marketing. Come on, man.
Hey, if he's low, it depends on how low he is.
He's trying to make a splash. He's trying to make a splash.
He's not making a splash of marketing. He didn't do nothing last year.
Yo, he's 22 years old, Jails. What do you mean? I mean, yes, listen, he's 22 years old. Maybe this year's it was just, you throw it away. It's a throwaway year. Everything was chaotic. Everything was in dysfunction.
I know. Same thing you say for DSJ.
What do you think? The new Bulls GM is going to give him away like Porzingis? He's not that stupid.
I mean, look, the DSJ average, 15 points per game for 2 seasons? Right? Am I right?
Yeah, no, he did. He did.
he can say the same thing about us with DSJ. But no one's trying to give us the world for DSJ. We were trying to get him for Malik Monk straight up, and people was like, they wanted the first 2. They want
Knox at a second.
How about us?
Ishmael says Knox and DSJ for marketing. I'd do that.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do Knox DSJ. I don't even think they need another first with Knox, and because if you really think about it, it's a failed first for another failed first.
Yeah,
and then that's the way I'm thinking about it.
I wouldn't call marketing a fail first though. He had a solid sophomore.
I wouldn't either. He had a down year. That's what was his averages last year?
I got to go back. I think it was like 18-9, I believe. I got to go back and check. I believe it was 18-9.
It was 18-9 last year? Okay.
Yeah. Frank and Los Main, let me do this. Let me hang up and call back into the switchboard. Frank and Los Main, hang on to the line. If it disconnects, just call back. Let me just see if this thing is gonna make the sound a little bit better. Hang on. So to everybody in the chat, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. JLs is in here making 2K trades.
Yes.
Knox at 38 for marketing. I mean, what would you think is a realistic trade for marketing? I don't know.
What's a realistic trade for marketing?
It's hard to really tell.
Marketing 14 points a game last year. All right.
Last year?
Okay. No, this past season.
And what was it last year?
This past season he's 14. Last season, 2018-2019 season, he averaged 18 points a game.
Yeah, it was 18, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd pull it.
This year, he's actually pretty 51%, 34 from 3, which is not good or not really bad. It's the average, almost.
Pull it. Bring back the bootleg Porzingis in here. Right all our wrongs. That's what you got to do, man. That's what you got to do. Let's see who's in the chat. Salute to everybody in the chat. Let's see who's in there. Salute to James Sanchez, Alex Collins in here checking in. Last King 85 says go Christian Wood. Christian Wood is better. I saw something crazy like Christian Wood was averaging after the Andre Drummond trade. I always call him DeAndre Drummond. Christian Wood was averaging something like 20 and 24 and 9 or something like that.
Yeah, we said that on this program.
Sheesh.
We said it on this program, and that's why Christian Wood is high on everybody else's list, because he figured maybe, everybody got out the way. Now, everybody got out the way, he's able to do his thing. But now, it might be different if defenses are more prepared for him, because he's kind of off the radar.
Good point. Is it a Randall situation? Is it a Randall situation?
Is it a Randall situation? Which is why I feel like which is why I say we might not have to do something crazy like like an 18,000 or something. But on the other hand, Detroit might match. So
good points. Let's go to Frank from Florida. Frank, how you feeling, man?
Hey man, I'm doing good, bro. How you guys doing?
Good. Can you hear us?
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of static, but yeah, I think we can move forward with this. So yeah, what I think the Knicks need to do is I really think they need to make a move and try to get Ben Simmons. They can't really do that. I know a lot of people on the chat are going to be against this, but I think they got to do everything possible to get Chris Paul. Because if you really look at it, the last time we had a leader was basically Jason Kidd. We haven't had a leader or a winner ever since, man. And I think Chris Paul would do wonders for this team, especially we have all these young guys, high draft picks as well. You got DSJ, Frank Ntilikina. So I think Chris Paul should be a priority. I know he's going up there in age, but I think he'll help out a lot of these young guys. Just want to see what your thoughts are when it comes to that.
So you're saying Ben Simmons or Chris Paul?
Yeah.
Man, Jails. Man.
Because I know Ben Simmons is going to be steep, man. I know the Sixers are not going to let him go like that, but I think Chris Paul, even at his age, I think that's what the Knicks need, man. They need that veteran leadership, in the locker room. And, the guy, he played great for the Thunders, and I think he'll do good, man. I really believe that.
You expect Chris Paul
and him and Leon Rose are tight, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think, Jails, your contention is, can he stay healthy?
Can he stay healthy? Like,
can he stay healthy?
What are you giving up for him to play if he can't stay healthy?
Yeah, his cost went up. His cost, no doubt, went up. You know what I'm saying? Listen, there's no doubt Chris Paul can help us. There's absolutely no doubt he can help us. It's just a matter of what are you willing to give up? Are you willing to pay him $40 million with the risk that at 35 years old, he's likely to get hurt again? But he'd be a great asset, JLs. I mean, let's face it. Even if you draft a point guard here, I think Chris Paul would be good here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one more thing I want to mention, like I mentioned before. I mean, look, we traded Porzingis. Porzingis, was a big value. We traded him for DSJ. DSJ was really the focal point of that trade. We just can't give up on the kid like that. A lot of the people on the chat, they want to give up on him. Knox is another one. Frank Ntilikina. I mean, these guys, what they probably need is they got to see exactly how it's done in the NBA, and they can learn a thing or two from Chris Paul, in my opinion.
No, that's all facts. All facts, Frank. Appreciate the call, man. Be safe down there in Florida. Yeah, he's right.
What do you think about the Ben Simmons thing?
We don't have the shooters for Ben Simmons, man.
Yeah. Right on the head, man.
It wouldn't make. You got Ben Simmons. Well, you would have to trade RJ for sure. Mitch, no, but you would have to trade RJ and probably like 3 first-round picks.
I agree with you, man. We don't have the shooters. We're in the exact same situation as the 76ers are.
Be in the same situation. They're gonna end up trading him, though. I think they will.
You have to end up trading somebody because they just don't work, man. They don't work together.
They're gonna end up trading him and trying to keep Embiid before Leon Rose goes and gets Embiid. Because that's definitely happening. Either
Embiid is coming to New York.
Either Embiid or Cat will be a Knick within the next 2 years.
Says from CP's. What makes you say that?
I just have that feeling. It's out there. The aura is out there, man. I just feel like, the way Philly's going, the way Minnesota's gonna be going, I see one of those guys will be a Knick in 2 years. Say 2 years, I think.
That's funny. I'll be all for Embiid being a Knick. Like, he has that New York attitude, talks smack, plays hard. You know.
Yeah.
Health is the biggest thing for him. Like, that's the only thing. It's like if that ever ends up happening, we'll be on the clock. Because, like, how long can your knees hold up?
Facts. As far as the DSJ thing, I mean, look, you can't wait for everybody, JLs.
Yeah,
you know?
can, man.
The draft comes, it's a treadmill, man. The draft comes, free agency comes, guys come, guys go. That's just the business, the downside of the business. So it's a next man up situation. Right now, none of our point guards are any good. They blackballed ISO. We're not going to get to see him, and I think he's going to be gone. And so you got to bring in the next guy. If the next guy, whether it's LaMelo, whether it's Cole Anthony, whether it's Killian Hayes, whether it's Kira Lewis, they're going to be better than DSJ is. I mean, let's be real. They're going to be a better asset to this team than what DSJ can be.
My thing is DSJ mentally ready to be in New York or just stay in? I don't think that's.
I think he wants out. I think he
definitely wants it out. He definitely wants out. And as soon as Fizz left, that was his last kind of beacon of hope to even compete or even stay mentally ready in New York. I feel like he checked out a long time ago, and we saw a heartbeat towards the end of the season a little bit. But it's just like, man, and granted, he went through a lot this year, but.
Yeah,
I always question it. Yeah,
he went through a lot, man. Whether it was personally or, free agent, the free agency situation just didn't help a lot of the young guys. It didn't help DSJ. It didn't help ISO. It didn't help Dotson. Hurt Frank when you had all three guys. You were playing all three guards.
Mm-hmm.
So it hurt him. It hurt him, but
definitely hurt
like
him.
I said in the draft, he's gonna get pushed out. I think that's what's gonna end up happening.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. Let's go to Delano. Delano, how you feeling, man?
I'm doing good, man. How y'all doing out there?
Good, bro. What's going on?
Yeah, maintaining, man.
I'm doing good, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Y'all know the vibes. Listen, my thing with the draft, because of the fact that we have needs that we need to address, I would probably focus on the point guard immediately, whether it's LaMelo, Killian, Cole, Halliburton, anybody of that caliber. And in the late draft, to address the other need, which I always say is a legitimate center, do you think somebody like Udoka Azubuike would be available? Somebody who kind of has been under the radar, but again was a finalist just now for the Wooten Award with Obi Toppin.
And that's for the Clippers pick or second round? You talking?
Yeah, with the Clippers pick.
The Clippers pick, and that's gonna be 25. So you wouldn't. So you're saying go point guard early, and then go for a play like Azubuike.
I'd go point guard early. Kira Lewis, I think, is a dynamic point guard. His scoring is definitely needed, but his playmaking, I won't say it's questionable, but comparing to the ones before him, again, the ones that we mentioned in the Balls, the Hayes, the even Cole Anthony, whose numbers don't look as good as everybody projected, considering the team he played for with UNC. Their playmaking is basically the thing that they're known for: playmaking and scoring. Kira's more of a scoring point guard, and again, when we need plays down, I just want to get I'm as a traditionalist, I like a point guard that's able to make plays and more of a floor general.
I understand. I mean, I get it. I mean, I'm not really up on the guy that you're talking about.
Azubuike.
Azubuike. I'm not up on him, but I can understand the strategy of it though, getting that point guard at the top, and then go for it, make a big down low. But I can't even. There's another guy down low that I heard was pretty good. That I forgot his name. Is it Killy? Killian Tilly, I think is his name. I think it's Killian Tilly, who's supposed to be like pretty good, but it's only thing holding him back is injuries. Really, but I think he might actually be a guy who's a big man who can help. And I've heard some cool things about who's kind of like a stretch four type of deal. But yeah, I agree with that thinking. But also have to remember too that we picking 6th or 7th. I mean 7th, probably 7th, maybe 10th. So a lot of those guys might not even be available. So we might have to pull audible and see what else we can get. So it might be a Garrett, it might be some guy who's not a floor general. Who knows?
Yeah, never know, man. And I think Delano dropped. I think was having some issues with the switchboard. But appreciate you, Delano, for calling. Salute to everybody in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Ishmael Rivas sent us a super chat. He says, Randall, Payton, and Portis for CP3 and 2 first-round picks.
Randall, Payton, and Portis.
I wish we could get that lucky, man.
Man,
I wish we could get that lucky, man. You know, that would be a steal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That would be a steal. All right, let's see what the tankathon is going on with JLs before we wrap up. So to everybody in the chat, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Next show will be Sunday. CK2K will be back. And we'll do our what ifs and get back to the fan mailbag as well, man. So Sunday afternoon Eastern, we'll get back to it. Salute to anybody that's team hashtag new. Salute to team hashtag new in here. We got Nick Flair in here, JL Jamal Simpson, what's going on? Quiet Money, Q's in here. IOPS, what's going on? Robert Paris, how you feeling? Jaden Diaz, salute to Jaden Diaz. Moneyline Mark, what's going on?
Yeah.
Natty Solo, how you feeling? Who else you want to shout out, JS?
Yep, shout out to Gregory Lee, Locks Maine. Shout out to Coach Chaz Carter, my guy from LI. My mom's over here representing Craig Williams and Fritz. Shout out to you guys. And shout out to Andrew Colo Desige. Shout out to you.
Nice. Nice. This is a good attempt to pronounce his name, JL. So it was good. That was good.
I tried. I know I messed up a lot of people's names, but I really tried.
No, it's all good. That was a good one. That was definitely a good one. All right, Tankathon right now. JLS has us at let's do a sim lottery. See how they feeling about us today. Ooh, number 8. Number 8, JLS. And then if we go to the mock draft, they have us with Killian at 6. Oh, in the mock draft, they gave us 2. LaMelo.
Oh.
LaMelo.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I could see this this mock draft playing out though. They have Anthony Edwards to Cleveland, LaMelo to the Knicks at 2, James Wiseman to the Warriors at 3, Denny Avdija 4 to the T-Wolves, Okongwu to the Hawks, Obi Toppin to the Pistons. They have Killian Hayes to the Bulls. I'm not so sure about that, but interesting. Halliburton to the Suns. Cole Anthony to the Spurs they have on this mock draft. And Maxi at 13. Interesting, man. Whenever we get to this draft, JLs, it's gonna be interesting to see, man.
Man, very interesting. Very interesting. I'll be give me that number 2. I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Man.
Give me that number 2, man. I'll definitely take it.
Yeah. Salute to Michael Partner gave a super chat. It says, can you see a scenario where RJ is moved on draft night?
No.
Nah.
No. I don't see any scenario where RJ's moved on draft night. I don't think
that's the only.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't even think they trade Julius Randle. To be honest with you guys, I don't see it.
You really think so? I think he can go, man.
I don't think they trade Julius.
I think he can. I think he might. I think it's a chance.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance. Like, they have to see. If they watching the games like we watching it, I think there's a chance.
Yeah.
Like the only people I'm really sure that's gonna be here really is RJ and Mitchell Robinson, in my opinion.
Right. I'm looking at. Well, I mean, to go to Delano's point in terms of the late rounder. I want a shooter, man. I want a shooter. You know, Naismith they have slotted at 20. Kira Lewis at 21. This is just off of mock draft. Vernon Carey would be interesting from Duke with that late pick, 27.
What's his game?
I mean, he's a center. He's center from Duke. Averaged 25 and 12 last year. You know, he's hovering around there is what they have him at. Trey Jones at 24. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm looking for shooting, man. I'm looking for shooting before I go get bigs. We got enough bigs. We got Taj, we got Mitch, and we got my man Bobby Portis, Jay Ellis.
Exactly.
The tank commander.
The tone has changed. Your man now. That's your man?
The tank commander Bobby P. On a $15 million contract.
Bring him back. Oh man. With the cap dropping like a stone.
Yeah. Nah, I don't think they bring it back. I don't think they bring it back.
Nah.
Yeah, man. But
I might come and bring him back cheap.
Well, maybe. See how it goes. But he looks like a guy that'll go to the highest bidder anyway.
True.
You know? So
you're right about that.
Yeah. But yeah, go ahead and sign out, man.
Yeah, man. Salute to the chat. Salute to everybody watching, man. If you have not signed up for Nick Time Show, you should do so. Still trying to get some content. It's been a crazy week, man. It's a crazy week. My job is working the crap out of me. Let me tell you. I'm pulling out the overtimes for real. Bro. I don't know what's happening. But when I get back on track, definitely watch out for the youtube.com/Nick Time Show and join us for next content. And you know, you also see the CPA every week because you know we out here still. Also check out nickandtimeshow.com to watch all of the vlogs. Check my stuff from Ken. Fritz should be here soon as well, so definitely watch out for that. And yeah, man. Also get the merch at the nickandtimeshow.com as well. That is all. Back to you.
Appreciate you, JL. Yo, they roasted me in the chat, JL. They said the quarantine got me going crazy with this Bobby Portis talk, man. Bobby. Hey, man. Hey, Bobby was a sniper to close the season out, man. Respect him, JL. Respect him.
Respect the shooter.
Yeah, man.
Talk about we looking for a shooter. We got one.
We got shooters, man. And if he leaves, oh man, forget about it.
Or not.
Forget about it. Well, listen, Iggy, maybe we see Iggy a little more. Maybe it's Kevin's turn a little more.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Maybe you get Lowry. Maybe you get a Bertans. You know, that would be ideal. Maybe you get Wood. We'll see.
Yeah, CK likes that idea of Knox at the 4. I'm not sold yet.
Yeah.
But we'll see. He likes it.
But yeah, salute to everybody for watching, man. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Share these videos, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email, text, whatever you do. Just share these videos. Remember, this show's available in audio podcast format. Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, and Stitcher. We hope you guys are doing well, healthy. Hope your families are healthy, happy. Everybody's doing all right in this time. We'll see you guys again Sunday. CK2K's back. Quarantine stream. We'll be doing our what ifs and back to the fan mailbag stuff. So let's shout out some people before we get out of here, JLs.
Yeah, man.
Definitely want to shout out once again all the mods: Keith Sinclair, Delano, TM, Dave, Alex Collins, appreciate it. Alex Trotaros, appreciate it. John Talento, Ala Wise, appreciate it. JL, so you want to shout out, man?
Yeah, right, man. Gregory Lee, John Talento. Oh, I gotta shout out my guy Wilson. Like always. Shout out to Andrew. Everybody, man. Everybody who represents KOT. Everybody who runs post-game live show, KnicksFanTV. Shout out to everybody. Well.
Yeah, man. Bobby Portis for MVP, JL, so you heard it here first, man.
MVP, yeah, man. He heard the chance sprung out in the Garden City. You were there. Don't hate. Don't hate on the great.
See you later. Peace.